your 14 loops you have. Let them try to do anything, right? The ball only knows about that much of your golf course. How'd you hit it? You'll notice Andy hits the ball probably as long as anybody here. A lot of you guys can hit it long. He hits it easily tour average. But the one thing you'll notice that he does, you guys watch it out with it, the handle sort of, in fact, the handle sort of slowed down. So he got on it really good, dead down the middle, and while the ball was on the face, you just let the head go a little bit ahead of the handle. Do you understand that? So it wasn't a bad shot when you started down the middle. Okay, let's see you hit it hard. Do that. I know you guys are all thinking, I could hit that far. But that one was a little bit, a tiny bit of upshoot. Wasn't his strongest flight.
I got the high driver here.
You got the high one? Okay. That is a really, really good shot. In case any of you wanted to know what a good driver looks like, that was it right there. Give me a hand. That would, if he would hit that shot every time, he could beat anybody. He could beat anybody on a given day. But that ball was powered out there, and then what did it do at the end? Just barely dropped right. That was like, that was killed right there. That's a long hit. Andy gets, 170 plus miles an hour ball speed. So what happens is a lot of your ball stays in the air the same amount of seconds. Because the difference is his going 180 miles an hour, and some of you is going 110. So it's going to cover a lot of ground. That's a long hit also. So any questions about that? Yeah, good. Go ahead, Andy.
On a driver, I'm setting up, I'm pretty centered. And I might put 80 or 90% on my right leg down the blue, and probably 90, 95 on the left. Replace on that left leg.
Andy, can you say that a little louder?
He was saying that he centers over the ball. What you'll find is most of the pros, no matter what shot you hit, where's my head? My head is always right there. So when you're chipping, it's there. When you hit the mid-iron, it's there. And when you're hitting your driver, it's there. If you take your head and do this, what do you think your backswing is going to do? You understand what I'm saying? Now, if you're too much over this, you'll go probably this way. So it's really important that your head is always, I believe, in this position. Just like if you were going to jump, your head is right there. And you want to be in a jumping position at address where you're alive. You stand there like this, or like that. You want to be in this jumping position. Okay?
Now the short irons, you're keeping your weight a little bit more towards the front and not necessarily, there's more power moving and shifting here. Just like when you throw a football, you're going to shift your back more. Go to your front, there's more power there. There's more accuracy if you center yourself on the short iron and keep it a little bit more towards the left side. You don't move as much.
The big thing that I did on my short irons is everything was this was the key guy. In other words, when I set up with the short iron, I would aim that foot 90 degrees to the target. So if I go over there, I'm going to swing over there. So I wanted that foot exactly lined up at that target, and then I would brace this knee inside the foot. Here's on top of my foot, and then going back, it would go over a little bit, but not all the way. The driver would go all the way. But I would really focus on brace, flow. So it's brace, here, flow to the target. And I actually tried to, like if I was swinging at you with my iron, I would actually get on the ball here, and then when I went to it, I wanted just to barely miss your right eye. I don't want it there, that would be a hook. But in other words, by the time the club comes around, I want that thing, if I was aiming at your nose, I'd be on your nose there. And by the time I got here, I would look at the blur. I think you actually watch my blur, and it would almost just be slightly left of the pin. If your blur, when you look up early, is over here, physics say that can't be a direct hit. And when you roll a ball in bowling, you don't go like that, right? I mean, you want that thing to right down the lane. And I really look the same way as golf. Get on it here and then blow it the target with that right side. Really important. So really work on those things if you can. Any last questions? A lot of this stuff you'll notice you haven't heard before, right? I can tell you all the stuff you've heard before. You've heard it. So it wouldn't get your attention, but these are all principles that I learned from my father, learned from John Gerson. I want you to do one last thing with the driver. John Gerson was a World Long Drive champion. Would you do this for about a half an hour, 20 minutes to a half an hour a day? Go ahead and do it. And if you guys want to get more, you do this for, just listen. Okay, hear this. Do about 10 of those. You do 10 of these, you'll get, let me get the marker. Okay. Get it. So if you can make the swish, you think the ball might go pretty far if you can do that? So if you're swishing about like this,
You can, Andy.
you can go to all the golf stores there are, or order all the caps you want. So it's pretty good to practice that. Alright, lost my mic on that. It's pretty important to be able to make that swish, because in order to make the swish, you have to make a really nice release. Otherwise it won't swish, right? So basically it's a 1, 2, 3. So you're on the 1. Go ahead and do the relax, and they come to the 2 position halfway down. That's what you want to work on. Up and halfway down is perfect. Right there's 2, and then from there you just let the big dog eat. Okay. So once you get to that 2 position, so 1, 2, 3. 1. There. So if you can practice that, ideally, I'm talking about swing now. Ideally, the club should be pointing at the ball here, halfway down. You should have a full 90-degree wrist cock with the right arm, and then from there, it's just release the club down the line. So you're already kicked your elbow out. That could be a problem. So you know this. I don't want. I hate to give you too many swing tips, but you'll notice this one thing, and this hasn't really been written about that I know of. Is where's my right elbow pointing right now? Is it pointing at my right hip bone? Right hip bone, right? And where is my right elbow pointing now? And where's the 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 right elbow pointing now? How many of you have ever been taught that? In other words, a perfect golf swing, you put your hand on the wall in a door jamb in the closet or something. Here's the door, okay, or the opening. Put your hand on the wall. You'll notice it's at the elbow. And then you get here, still there, still there, still there. And when you hit that wall, bam, right there, it needs to be on that wall. If you were hitting over here, elbow popping out, are you going to hit the wall squarely with that right hand? And if the elbow's too deep, you're going to hit this side of your hand. So putting your hand on that wall in the closet or wherever you could do it in the hallway, and put it on that wall and just bam, just learn to bam every time, just bam. It's interesting, there's a little gal named Marissa Baena. Have anybody ever heard of her? Went to Arizona State. I think she weighed about 95 pounds. She hit it legitimately 275. And the way she did it, she would actually somehow come down and put her elbow on her hip, right hip, and then pop it with the hip. That's a heavy hit. This is not a heavy hit. You go like that. That's not a heavy hit. Heavy hit is getting this arm at least against your pec here and popping it right there. Just pop it there. Not one of these tin hits. When you want to get more power, hit it there, bam. Especially the gals. Because it's a heavier hit. I try to teach him, I did teach him, he had one of the heaviest hits. When he would hit when he was in college, the sound of his shot was different than all the other guys. And he would actually, you could almost feel the ground when he hit, where the ground was, you could almost feel a vibration because he would be so solid butt into it, back into it. Everything was right on the money. Boom! And that ball, bam, jumps off the face. If you hit it like this, it's a different kind of hit. Somebody said just the club hitting the golf tee at impact slows it down a mile an hour. I don't know if I believe that. If that is really the case, what do you think of a golf ball that weighs 300 times more than a tee or whatever it is? If you don't get ready for impact, you get on the ball at 114 miles an hour. The secret is how fast is it going when it leaves the ball club face. So you got to get ready for the second part of the hit. And so I have sort of become an expert at impact. That was my big thing. My big thing was in 1971, I wanted to get in the impact position and address with those short irons. So when I came back down, I was exactly the same spot. I wasn't standing like this, and then like that. I would actually try to get in the impact. Boom. And that's a good way to hit your 6, 7, 8, 9 ways. Just one last question, then we're done. Yeah.
My golf instructor told me that that's very athletic. Do you agree with that? And also, do you think it's harder for women to hit that shot than men?
I mean, to get in that position I'm trying to get into? Is it harder for women? No. Just the one thing the women are so good at is they've got amazing range of motion. You can get the club way back here, you're not so muscle bound, and then come down. Everything's really good, but you watch out. You don't stabilize impact and you sort of get that kind of hit. So it's really important when you get here. It's like karate.
Karate, like that. Golf is the same way. Nice and relaxed like couples. Boom. You want to be solid right there. You want to be
So, is there one last question, or we done? Did I give you too much time? Today, you got to know today. If I was your caddy, you guys have had a great year to get here. Today is a bit of a celebratory feeling, and I know you guys want to win or do really well, but just go out there today, enjoy the beauty of the Napa Valley, the course. Don't try any of this stuff I told you. No. Except for me, the brush. But don't forget Andy doing, if you can do that 9-shot game, there's not a player here that won't be a better player. Forget about everything else I said, except for the brush and the 9-shot game. If you can do the 9-shot game, I can, even at 65, I can average 8.5 out of 9. Okay? So golf, instead of painting with one brush, one color, one way, it's much more gratifying and more enjoyable, you kids, if you can paint with a lot of brushes and a lot of colors. I played in, the last thing I'm going to tell you, I played in the 70s when I was really hot. I was really the first guy to start shooting a lot of low rounds. 61s, 2s, 3s, and 4s. Once a week I'd shoot 64 or lower. It might come on Tuesday on the practice round or Wednesday in the Pro-Am, but there was going to be 64, 3, 2, or 1 once a week. And the reason why I was able to do that is I had 4 guys totally grooved. Had the little low chi-chi shot that you saw him hit, low draw. So the back left pins were into the wind, slice wind. That's a great green light there. I invented this green light, yellow light, red light. Have any of you ever heard of that? I was the guy that started that. I was a car nut. I was a drag racer. Wrote in my book, Pure Golf, in the early 70s. So I had that shot groove. And then I had a Trevino shot where, you know, Trevino sort of walks around like he has to go take a leak or something. And then he goes, the club's this way, the shaft. Chi-Chi's is this way, Trevino's that way. Low fade for into a hook wind, or back right pin or front right pin, little Trevino shot. And Tony Lima was the assistant pro at San Francisco Club when I first started taking lessons at 7. And he had a beautiful high all through with a club up high, real high, and the club this way, not straight. And he hit a high draw. I had that one grooved. Then I had my own swing that was neutral straight. So I had more green light shots than a guy hitting nothing but fade. Does that make sense to you? If you got a shot, the wind's blowing 20 miles an hour that way, they got a water where my glove is, the pin is right there on the water, right here, and you're hitting a fade and the wind's blowing 20 miles an hour that way, how far out in the lake are you going to aim? If you don't have a draw, like a Chi-Chi draw or something, you're going to choke on that shot, I promise you. maybe 1 out of 5 you'll hit a good one. Aim out in the lake and hope it comes back. But under pressure, you're going to block it right or hit it in the lake. So it's important that you have the high draw, maybe the Lima for me. But with this 9-shot game, you'll start getting, hopefully, in your own version of who you copy, like a Dustin Johnson move like that hits a cut, okay? That's not a draw move. So what you'll find is, as in the process of trying to play the 9-shot game, you'll get 2 or 3 of those that you can do in your sleep. So under pressure, you can go to those guys you can hit in your sleep, and you won't choke. Gee, I hope my fade works here. When I won the AT&T, I was a grandpa. There's no grandpas won on the tour in 40 years except for me. And I was playing one tournament a year for 5 years. This was the 5th year I was announcing. The reason why I was able to win there in the lousy, rainy, crappy, windy weather is I had all these basically low series of shots with this game. And on the 18th hole, of course, a big slice wind. I was able to hit that Chi-Chi 3 times with a slice wind and piece of cake. You know, I was choking, but I had a shot I knew I could hit. That's good, you know. You guys need to have these anti-choke shots. Remember, if you're choking, hit it low. It doesn't have time to get offline. Got that? What did I just say? If you're choking, where do you hit it? You can put the dang driver on the ground if you want and lean into it and hit a little ugly low fade. You can hit it every time. The guys that tee it high and belly they're out, I think you could go anywhere. So again, if Greg Norman would have had that shot, or Phil Mickelson, every time he wins, he's hitting those little half punch stingers, right? Then he doesn't use them anymore. No fun. Then he likes to hit it hard. So as great as Phil is, he would have been greater if he was able to know when he's nervous and then hit one of these shots that overcome his nerves. So the stuff I've taught you guys today is all sort of doctorate degree stuff, and you guys are ready for that. Is any of this stuff you couldn't understand? Any of it? So I highly recommend absorbing it and using, again, if nothing else, the chip. There's 2 ways to chip. You can play it all over your stance. Keep the energy the same on those little standard ones. Same with the irons. Energy the same, like Tom Watson. And if you work on those things, you'll get results right away. So next year could be a great year for a lot of you guys. The putting and stuff, you can work on your own. Hopefully you're gifted in that area. But any last things you might want to say?
Yeah, I mean, I grew up, I played the JJAMC here in Northern California. Some of the best players in the United States of America come right out of Northern California. But, you know, probably the biggest advantage I have was not that my father was a Hall of Famer. They won 25 tour events. Biggest advantage I had from my father is that this is more for the parents and from my mom, is that they supported me. If I played bad, I didn't have that pressure that I saw a lot of the kids have. If I played bad, I knew I'd come home and my parents would be like, hey, you'll get them next time. It was positive reinforcement when I finished. I didn't have to worry about if I was shooting 80, that my parents were going to ride me when I came home. You want to support your kids? Be positive to them. Help them out. Don't make them feel extra pressure. They already want to succeed. So stick behind them, and they'll do great. If you put extra pressure on them, it'll make it that much more difficult for them to succeed.
Thanks, Andy. And obviously, all the hard work you guys have put into it are going to get you golf scholarships at universities if you want, and hopefully, if you want, go on to be professionals if you want to, or teaching, or whatever. The world of golf is huge, and it's a pretty nice life, isn't it? You guys, how many of you, you don't want to admit it, but is there anybody that doesn't want to be maybe a great champion someday? I mean, everybody wants to do it, right? I mean, it's also very addicting, and it's a great sport. It teaches you good manners and good etiquette and honesty, and but don't forget your education too. But I appreciate all the junior golf associations around. I have a junior golf foundation which basically pays for everything you're doing today, and it's my pleasure to be able to help you guys, and I hope that you guys are very successful. But remember, the secret to being happy in life is So being obedient to good principles of your parents and people, and being totally honest. If you're really honest in everything you say, don't exaggerate stories, don't exaggerate what you shot. If you bumped it up that day, tell them, no, yeah, I shot 65, but I bumped it out, or whatever. But learn to be really honest, and if you will, you'll sleep well, and you'll do well in business if you don't make it on tour, and you'll be respected of people. If you're a liar, I'm telling you, I hate to use that word, but we're seeing that a little bit in politics, to say the least, right? It'd be nice if people said, I don't know that question's answer, instead of just a bunch of bull, And I on the air, I'm probably the most honest golf announcer ever, and I've gotten into quote unquote trouble by crossing the line a few times, but not because I haven't been honest. And honesty has longevity. Understand that? You can fake it for a while by being just some guy that makes up stuff. Sounds good, but it doesn't have longevity. The same thing when you guys get married someday, to be totally honest with your wives and your kids. I have such great kids. Andy's an amazing young man, and just blessed to have a good family, and hopefully you guys are as lucky as I've been. So my wife, Linda, where's Linda? Linda's back there. Great mother there. Drove these kids to all these junior tournaments. You guys are having a great time right now. Junior golf is fantastic, isn't it? So thanks you guys for all coming, and appreciate you all. Thanks a lot.